Okay, so this is part 2 of the lecture on order of operations. Once again, we're going to look at example 29, and we're going to work it out. This is a killer. Actually, I find that the rate of difficulty is minus 4 over 2 minus 8 plus 2 plus minus 5 2. Okay, let's take a look at this. So these weird brackets, which is just a line, is really absolutes. That's what this means. It's an absolute and it's a bracket. So let's say you have a minus 4. Minus 4 is equal to 4. When you have an absolute term, it's always positive. It changes negatives to positive and it leaves positives as they are. So if we look at the number line, this being 0, it's really the distance from 0. So if you have 2 or negative 2, if you look here, they are the same distance from 0. They are 2 away from 0. That's what absolute terms means. So whatever the result you get, and in orders of operations, they are to be treated as brackets. All right? So it says another type of grouping symbol that has an operation with an absolute value. When we have an absolute value, we'll evaluate everything inside the absolute value just as we would a normal parentheses. Then once the inside number completed, we'll take the absolute value or distance from 0 to make the number positive. So 1 plus 3, 1 plus 3, absolute bracket minus 4 squared. Now this word becomes really complicated. I don't know. I feel we should have done this more. The book is a little bit, I know it's a review and you should know this, but I mean, I don't like the should knows in math. All right. So in order to make things a little confusing, they put parentheses here. But those are just numbers, so they don't really count. So parentheses. In fact, you know what? I'm going to blow this up a bit. So it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So let's do this. So here are the parentheses, right? We're looking for the parentheses. Parentheses can be like this, like this, like this, or absolute terms. So we have here minus 4 squared minus 8. Then we have 3 plus minus 5 squared. Now here, once again, they're going all out and making it super difficult. What's the difference between this and this? Now, when we square anything, normally it should be a negative number, right? A positive number, I mean, right? So let's say I take minus 4 multiplied by minus 4. That's a negative. That's 16. If I take 4 multiplied by 4, that's 16. Anytime you multiply, you square a number, whether it's negative or positive. So remember, if I do this squared, that really means minus 4 times minus 4. However, here, when you don't see a brackets, what that really means is minus 4 squared. So it is minus 4 times 4. That is, these two things are different. It's intentional. They want you to show you the difference. So that would be minus 16, right? So let's take a look at this. Minus 4 squared minus 8, 3 plus brackets minus 5 squared. So are there any parentheses in this statement? No. Are there exponents? You bet. So let's do these exponents. Minus 4 squared minus 5 squared. So what this is saying is 4 times 4. What this is saying is negative 5 times negative 5. You see the difference? You see the difference here? So essentially, this will be minus 16, and this will be 25. That's the killer. Moving along, so now that we've got that, we can do minus 8 here, and we can do 3 plus 25, right? Because we figured that out. And that equals minus 16. Two negatives makes a positive, plus 8 equals negative 8. Here it equals 28, right? Negative 16 plus 8. Take the sign of the biggest and then you subtract. All right, so we have this bugger here, and we have this bugger here. Let's rewrite this equation. I'm running out of space. So we have 1 plus 3 absolute power of minus 8. Remember, this is an absolute, and with the solution is minus 8, plus 2 absolute 28. Which is another way of saying 1 plus 3 times 8, because this becomes a positive, plus 2 times 28, because no matter what, it stays positive here. So here it stays positive, here it turns into positive, because they are absolute values. So let's do this. 1 plus 3 times 8 equals 24, plus 2 times 28 equals 56. So my math sucks. Hold on. It's a 0, add the 1. That's 80 plus 1 equals 81. Is that the solution, just for the heck of it? Yeah, 81, that's the solution. Okay, our above example illustrates an important point about exponents. Exponents are only considered to be a number they are attached to. This means when we see negative 4 over 2, only the 4 is squared, giving us a negative. That's basically what I explained to you. So now they want us to practice. Actually, I have a few more problems to do with you from the Humongous book of calculus because I feel it's relevant. We're going to do that right now. Okay, so this problem here comes from the Humongous book of calculus. Let's do this. So let's go our rules, parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract. So do we see any parentheses? I don't see any. Do we see any exponents? I don't see any. Do you see any multiplication division? I see some here. I see some here. All right, so let's do it. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Write this down. Minus 6 plus 8. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 8 times 3. Here we have a multiplication. 24. Minus 1. You see what I did there? That's often what students do, is they go too fast. What I just did was a student mistake. They go too fast and they mess up their orders of operations. So 8 times 3 is here. 10 divided by 2 is here. 6 is here. Minus 1 is there. So now do we have any more multiplication division here? Nope. Do we have any addition subtraction? Yes. So we start from the left. 5 minus 6 equals minus 1 plus 24 minus 1. So minus 1 plus 24 equals 23, minus 1 equals 22. And is that the answer? Yes, it is. Okay, so here's another problem. Once again, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Do we see any parentheses? I sure do. Here it is. Here's one right there. So let's solve for this. So that's 3 plus 6 multiplied by 2. So inside this parentheses, do we see any exponents? Nope. Do you see any multiplication division? I see one right here. So 3 plus 6 times minus 2. Negative and a positive make a negative. All right. 3 plus minus 12 equals minus 9. So let's rewrite this equation. 10 multiplied by 4 minus parentheses minus 9. So all this equals this divided by 5. Now this is no longer a parentheses. It's just an expression, right? You've solved what's inside. So we're still here. Multiplication division. Do we still have any multiplication division? Yes, we do. We have one here and we have one here. So 10 times 4 equals 40 minus negative 9 divided by 5. Ooh, that's a killer. That's a killer. Ooh, so that would be negative 9 over 5. tripping? No, I'm not. Okay. So how do we do this? Now that's a crackerjack. First of all, we can help ourselves. When you're subtracting a negative, what you're really doing is adding it. So let's do 40 plus 9 over 5. Now to add, we need a lowest common denominator. So an easy way to do this, so 40 plus 9 over 5 is really 40 over 1. So if we multiply this by 5 and this by 5, we're going to get I don't know if we're going to get the lowest common denominator, but we're going to get a denominator, like a common denominator. So let's do this. So 5 times 40 equals 200 over 5 plus 9 over 5 equals, when we're adding and subtracting, you add or subtract the top, 209 over it, and the bottom stays the same, 5. That's your answer. That is your answer. You see how we did? We mixed the fractions and the order of our operations, which I find kind of awesome. Okay.